Good afternoon. This is Ben Yarbrough with Calyptix Security, and I'm here with Joseph Smith.
Hello.
We're really excited to bring to you some great new content, some features, upgrades, and a glimpse at what's coming next. Some of it's as soon as next week, right, Joseph?
Yes, it's coming very quick.
And there's some opportunities to get involved on some things that we're working on that are actively underway. We have a lot going on, and again, very excited for you to be joining us today. We've got a pretty healthy agenda. We're going to do a real quick overview of the security pressures that small business continue to see. Just, remind ourselves, touch base on the ASM program, how that's working. Again, I sent an email out earlier. I hope that you give us some feedback on both the webinar or the ASM program, anything that we've touched here or that's on your mind. We really appreciate the investment and the time in this session, and we're really very much looking for more feedback. Joseph will do a quick overview of the models, upgrade paths, and things like that. Look at some more recent firmware updates, and then the most recent 7.0.4 that's out that has the new web filter engine. We'll also touch base on some rapid improvements we've been making in the Calyptix Cloud Manager to drive more visibility and time savings for our partners. We'll touch base on the Community Shield activity, where it stands a couple days ago, and close with a review of Community Shield Plus, talk about how you can get involved in the beta program and the trial enrollment there.
So wanted to bring up a reality check. We've been saying this for a while, that SMBs are increasingly under attack. Last year and earlier this year, we had done a case study to calculate the downtime and what it costs a company. And so right here, we have 86% of the SMB cyber attacks are top risk. And, they report from $1,000 to $5,000 lost per hour. Now, that's for small business. If you were looking at enterprise, you can easily times that by 10. But just wanted to let you guys be aware that we do have this content on the website, and it's something that everyone should really be aware of.
I think what's important is this. We work with you guys, our small business partners. We serve the Fortune 5 million. We are not under the illusion that small businesses started 1,000 or fewer employees like IBM and Bank of America perceive. So we're very acquainted with the challenges, the needs, and very focused on small businesses, and that's our mission. The reality is that data supports this even more so. And I pulled some data real quick just on the aggregated data, what we see, and you can pull this from your own firewalls if you want. It's noise to most people. It's threat intelligence as well. Mm-hmm. And it shows just inbound probes, activities, attacks, stuff that's stopped by all the things. And what jumps out always to me is how much of this comes from our friends and sisters in the domestic U.S. 50 states. And, we think a lot of threats emanate from abroad, and they do. And those can be more easily stopped. But there's a lot of compromised infrastructure. There's a lot of leased infrastructure. And frankly, it's harder to stop. And we're very focused on that. When you look at sort of where it's coming from, not only is it coming from our neighbors, it's coming from some of the largest Fortune 10 companies in America. And, they're trying to stop it, I guess, but they can't stop it all. And they're attacking all the ports, and, it's just never going to stop. And if you want to just remind your clients of why they need a secure, maintained edge that's easy to use, just pull the data. And you could pull a CSV, use a pivot table, and pretty quickly get to the same conclusions. Or you can look at some of the internal reports. And this is an overview of the ports. And again, nearly every targeted port that might be exposed or, it's forwarding or relaying traffic is the U.S. sources are the top sources, except a couple of these. And the U.S. infrastructure is number 2. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do a couple of quick polls to get involvement, and this is going to help us with some of the conversation a little later that we will share. We have 4 questions today. We're going to try to do these pretty quick, and it's focused on no surprise, the management monitoring service that we've been working so hard on. We're trying to get an update on those of you that are actively providing monitoring service and sort of what scope of service you're providing. So we'd very much appreciate if you'd take a second to answer this one. You should have a few options there, right, Joseph?
Yes. There's a no, we don't offer. Yes, we do for some clients. It's under 50%. Yes, for more than 50%. And then yes, for nearly all your clients, which is over 80%.
So the goal here is to get a good gauge of who's doing it, how far they're penetrated, their customer base. We've got a few more questions about challenges and things like that, because we want to focus our efforts where they're needed and be complementary to the services and where you guys are today, and get the biggest bang for your buck and our buck. So looks like we got a few more folks out there that could share their insights. They may not offer the service. If you don't offer the service, and we have a few non-MSPs that are on the session today, just go ahead and mark that as well. I mean, even though you might not even offer it or looking to offer it, it's helpful to add. So we'll give you another 20 seconds to weigh in. Your vote matters. It definitely shapes the conversation. So we appreciate that. All right. So we'll go to the next question. So in terms of offering, we're curious to know, what are some of the challenges that you face in the offering of monitoring services? This will help us focus on the elements that we're doing to really hit the mark. We could only put 5 things in here, and so don't suggest this is the limit of all challenges, because that no way is it. So if there are other items that you want to share, there's feedback at the end of this, or you can send me an email directly. But the more that you can share here, the better.
Right. And this is multiple. You can have multiple.
You can have multiple. So I think these are challenges for many people. And so it's, I think, fair to say probably that most people have most of these challenges.
Oh, yeah.
But it's sort of then, if there's one or two that are a little less issues, that would be helpful. So we'll give you another 30 or 45 seconds to vote on this one. Again, this one really helps. And we're going to share this information back to you. So towards the back end. So that'll be helpful. All right. 10, 9, 4, 7. Oh, wait, 2. All right. We'll go ahead and close this one out and do one more. And then the last one is to get an understanding of what people are currently able to include in their monitoring stack. Again, we were limited to 5 entries. We didn't put network logs in there because we don't forward network logs. And so we sort of know if you're using our firewall, that's not in. But the log correlation is something we're interested in, whether or not you're covering Microsoft 365 as a cloud service, whether or not you've got mitigation or mediation involved, whether you've got access to experts, and this more of a forensic access. It's not necessarily the actual investigation and monitoring side. That's more the 24/7, are humans involved, or you're more relying on automated. And of course, if you don't offer the service, then we would anticipate that you're probably not doing any of these things, which is just should. Our goal is to make it easy, make it effective, make it affordable. So your input here is extremely helpful in ensuring that our resources are spent on doing that on your behalf.
10 more seconds.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we'll close that one. So we appreciate that. Again, we're going to bring that up in the next, towards the end. So with kind of leading into the activities from an organization side, many of you know Chris who has been with us many years and knows many of you guys very well, retired, and he is serving as a mentor and trainer and helping us reorg our account management and growth. And he is really combining the feedback of Chris and Dwayne and some of our partners, including Rick. We really learned that we help people. We do sell security and security services, but our mission is to provide immediate personalized help and to do that at scale in a way that really solves challenging problems. And security happens to be what we're bringing to the potluck dinner. And hopefully that's a meaningful cause. So if you have any feedback on the account success manager approach, they will take your orders. They will help you sell. They will help you understand the new beta programs, new services. But they're also there to be the quarterback for you across every aspect of our teams, whether it's the partner agreement, the understanding community shield alerts, interfacing with our security analyst, Archa, to look at notifications, making sure the support is responsive to you, scheduling training with Warren and the team, improving the content. I mean, it's so much more than just sales.
I would actually add feedback and messaging towards our developers of any kind of like bug fixing and that kind of stuff, something that they can escalate into that section.
Yeah. So as we've grown, we want to empower our success managers to work with you, to be that funnel, to be that advocate for you, product development wise, service wise, you name it. And that's their role. So you don't pay them. And, yes, they are paid based on the relationship they have with our accounts, and selling is part of what they do, but it is help first, sell second. And if it comes across as other than that, please let me know. And I hope you'll view them as a member of your team, because you are paying for them indirectly. So you should look for their help. And I think they're there to provide it. And they've been enjoying it. I've loved to see the growth and the enthusiasm that David and Nate are bringing to the role. They're doing a great job. And we're looking to add some more, too, actually, in this capacity. So if you know folks that might be good fits.
Yeah.
All right. This is just a quick reminder for auto renewals. If you are a reseller and you have your boxes out there and you need to do renewals for them, we recommend having on auto renewal so you're not dropping the ball or anything like that or letting a customer lapse when it's not needed. Also, we incentivize auto renewals. We give a discount for the monthly membership of the subscription for auto renewals.
On the annual basis.
On the annual basis, yes.
That's right. And that doesn't mean you won't, we're not going to do it without telling you. You're going to get the 120-day review by your account success manager on that. You're going to have the opportunity to not have that done. But if you're teed up with the auto renewal, you're going to qualify for that additional partner discount. So, contact your ASM today to provide the information to get that set up.
Now, here's an overview of what we have right now for our units. We have the 900, the 1500, and the 1900. They're all sized differently for different kinds of deployments. And you could see that the 900 is one of our mainstays. It can work in many different environments, but if you do need that extra bandwidth, I recommend going for the higher one, especially the 1900, which does have like a 2.2 gigabits per second throughput on generally. And as you are upgrading, there is a pass for this, and it depends on what you have out there already. So if you have an 800R, which is the older model that is no longer continued now, we recommend for a monthly to go to a 900. And if you're on an annual, we recommend for a 1500. The value is just there for that.
These units, it's important that, we are looking to deploy hardware platforms that are capable of many, many years of service. And I know a number of you still have 800s, some of which are 10 years, coming up on 10 years.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
that later.
But the ROI on 5 and 6 year old hardware is pretty damn good. So and if you look at the new features, new capabilities, and all that's available there. So I know in these times, expenses is tough, but you're really locking in some value, some runway, if you will. And you're also, these tariff things, we still don't know where we stand. And so, I mean, I think if you've got stuff out there, we're not going to raise prices just willy nilly. But if we get whacked with a big tariff, we're going to have no choice but to pass that through. So, keep that in mind as you're talking to customers. We're at the mercy of those in power. So,
and if you have any questions, just talk to your ASM. They'll fill you in on pricing and everything you need.
Another note on that is some of our partners have taken advantage of the ASM relationship and helped drive direct to customer upgrades, where we can obviously put the config on and also put specific partner branded end user instructions to install the upgrade. I would note that it's not difficult to do an inline install upgrade with the config on it. My dad is 89 years old. He got struck by lightning not too long ago.
His firewall did.
So actually, the house, they lost about I think it cost them 25 grand on the HVAC unit. And then we shipped them a new firewall. And I said, Dad, just sit it on top. Don't plug it in. Plug the wires in. Same way. Then plug the power in, hit the button. Call me back. He said, do I need to call the IT guy? I was like, no, you're good. So he called me back. Everything was fine. So, if Sid can do it, I think most of your customers can do it with the right instructions and right approach. And so it's a low cost upgrade path that really is planned downtime, which is a lot more tolerable than unplanned downtime and hardware fails.
Here's a Calyptix tech tip, number 37, coming straight from Dwayne. That's why we got his picture up there. So if you're trying to find a static IP or dynamic IP of your site, of the modem, there's two different ways you can go and do that. For one, you can go into the diagnostics section on the homepage and select ART table and press go. It'll actually show you what the WAN IP address is, that, and then also when that expires. If it's static, then you'll have to go to a separate page, which is set up network and the WAN page. And that's something you've already put in. I mean, just a nice little tip here.
So one way to use this, obviously, if you're you need to check the public IP and it's dynamic, I guess you can ping it to make sure you can get to the modem. Because a lot of people are like, oh, something's in between me and the world. Well, you got to break it down, right? You got to check can you hit the LAN, gateway? Can you hit the public gateway? And then, on and so forth. So that sort of breaking down that diagnostic is key. Want to touch base before we get into the new stuff, because we've got so many new people and we've done so much so many of our older partners have been with us. Want to make sure you're getting the value out of your platform. And we've got a lot of capabilities in the box that have been added over the last years that can be activated over. And this includes Gatekeeper for remote access. It's the zero trust network access with multi-factor, no VPN client required. I'll give you a little more. LAN lockdown is a one-click subnet segmentation, really important if you've got sensitive environments. We've now got the local DNS server, which you can activate, and you can set up easy names then for your printers, your other IoT devices. You can also integrate with the Google Safe Search by using the local DNS server. That also increases the DNS logging from a telemetry standpoint for you. Obviously, the outbound filtering rules, you've got granular outbound traffic control, locking down outbound DNS, locking down outbound traffic that shouldn't go out, and so forth. Geofence, of course, you can block a lot of countries in a few clicks. Most people are using that, but there's still a few that are not. That, of course, can be implemented through CCM, Calyptix Cloud Manager, very quickly and easily. And lastly is the Community Shield, just knowing that threat intelligence protection for both inbound and outbound activity. And you can illustrate that and see the protection it's provided in the network alerts logs, and you can show that to your clients. We block a lot of stuff, and part of our new service is trying to figure out exactly what that is. Talk a little bit more about that. But the Gatekeeper tool, again, it's a very powerful tool. And Joseph, you've talked to a lot of partners that have used it. What are the sort of highlights that people share when they talk about Gatekeeper?
Well, I mean, there's two different use cases that they use it for. Either one is using it for their inner work and getting to workstations that they need to get to that they don't want to drive to. Another one is a work from home solution for the end user. And pretty much that's been working pretty well that way.
Right. So whether you're most of them are using it for RDP to terminal server or internal workstation or and so forth, but you can use it for SSH. You could use it for web server. And the great thing about it is you get to log into one portal and you see all the different tools that the user can get to, and they can click on any one of them and go straight there. Again, there's no endpoint software required, and it's very granular in terms of the access. So you're not opening up the whole network like you do with a VPN. And of course, the VPNs have been under constant vulnerability attack and a lot of bugs in the VPN implementation. So this takes that off the equation as well.
So before we get into 7.0.4 and that release, we wanted to quickly highlight what has been happening in AccessEnforcer version 7 to 7.0.3. There has been a lot of incremental changes that add up to a big deal. So really, basically, what we have here is the CCM part, the readiness of that, the firmware on the box communicating to CCM. That's brand new. Of course, as we build and everything like that, we're going to have network and platform enhancements as well as security compliance enhancements that need to be done. So
there's a lot that's been done. So we rolled out 7.0 a little while back in 2024.
Yes.
And put a lot of new features in it, the local DNS server, but continue to add some elements, updates, bug fixes, and the like. So there's a lot there. There are detailed notes in the for the change logs and the release notes. So please take a look at those to see the new pieces, but we want to highlight a handful of them. So more recently, we've got 7.0.4. And how would you describe in a big picture sort of what we've accomplished with this new release that's just now rolling out?
Well, there's four main areas that we are really highlighting in this update. One is the new web filter. That's kind of a big deal. That is a game changer for a lot of reasons. Two is here, continue. Yeah, so we have the web filter right here. And yeah, okay, there we go. We have the additions in CCM for that web filter. There is a lot of optimizations on the back end that are making it a lot quicker. So you're going to see a lot snappier web pages, a lot of snappier operation.
That's why I was number 3, and number 4 is just all the general stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we can't really just like put under one umbrella, so it has to be put onto others. But if you do see the release and change logs, you'll see there's a lot of things that have been updated and upgraded as well.
Yeah,
so different modules.
What I'm really enjoying seeing is how the Cloud Manager platform is now coordinating with the devices, and they're being used to work together for optimizing the display of information, the workflow, the configuration, the visibility, to really bring to the forefront what these platforms can do. Mm-hmm. Let's get back to the web filter because you were really excited about that.
I am really excited about this. So
tell us about that history here, because there's a story about what we've done here, right?
Right. So in the beginning, we had the two different modules for the web filter and everything, the regular HTTP web filter and the HTTPS web filter. And they have to be two different systems because the way they operate. For a while, the regular web filter was working just fine. But as, the internet changed and there's a little bit more security put into there, we have to, compensate for the amount of traffic that's going through the encrypted side of it.
When it started, I think, I can't remember what year we introduced the single-click HTTPS web filter, which was pretty significant, but it was like just a modest amount. But, some of our partners like, man, it's coming. It's going to all be encrypted. And sure enough, it mostly is. And sure enough, that really put a lot of pressure on that web filter engine for the HTTPS. And as a result, we've completely rebuilt it, right?
Yeah, rebuilt is the word. It's not just adding something to it. It's rebuilt from the ground up.
The the tools, the methodology, how it uses the system to do it, it's all different.
Right.
So the outcome has been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that number right there is big for a reason, and we wanted to put it there because it is a 97% reduction in CPU usage. That is incredible. I mean, when you're talking about inspecting all all the traffic packets and everything like that, having that number being now only, 3%.
That's enormous efficiency gain.
Yeah. And, along with that, it's memory usage as well. So a little bit of garbage cleanup and stuff like that has brought down the memory usage by 40 to 60%.
And that's impressive because it gives us so much more runway for these platforms to use for other things or as other needs arise, and just basic performance, right?
Right. And so the other part of it hasn't changed with the web filter categories that we have coming from BrightCloud. So all that's still accessible. Nothing's changed with that. It's just the actual engine itself that churns through all of the traffic that's going through.
So I do want to highlight that, with the less than optimal performance, and I think many people were not using the HTTPS filtering as much. And so, one of the reasons we're really excited for is because of the effort we put in to integrate with the OpenText BrightCloud platform. Brings you billions of URLs. It brings you AI, ML, multi-layers of inspection of these websites and domains and pages. And, it's not perfect, nothing out there is, but it's included. There's no added charge.
Right.
And it is the same platform that's used by some very other large OEM customers. And I think it's pretty expensive on some of these other platforms.
Yeah.
And the categories, it's like 80 plus categories.
Yeah.
There's malware, there's botnets, there's phishing, there's, DNS, or there's proxy circumvention category if you want to really lock that down. And there's uncategorized, which are things that haven't been seen before. And so it's a very robust data set. And so between that plus the optimization, we really encourage you to think about activating the web filtering, at least in monitor mode or enforce mode for the malware and botnets and the like.
So that brings us to the next thing. We wanted people easily to be able to turn on these web filters and the settings and everything like that as easy as it is inside CCM. So what you see here is CCM in action. This is live. You can toggle between the legacy web filter that is right now active if you have it on. You could change it to the new version, which, as you can see, old version is called legacy. New version is just called the filter. So yeah,
you could do that on one box, or you can do it on all of your
You could
boxes.
do all of it at once.
Yeah.
So that whole apply settings, if you select all your units, it will push all those changes directly to each one of those.
That's really powerful. And then we on the other, so we got the CCM improvement at the same time we got the box improvement,
Right.
which is great. And then we've got the live connection boost as well. What's that one?
So in the process of working with CCM, the web filter, and all that, there has been some improvements. So the backend has been optimized for faster performance. That 225 times faster is actually pretty accurate from what it is. So we not only halved it, but we went even further. So the performance of the backend for the live connections is going to be a lot snappier.
So where that comes into play is as we're slurping up the data from the box into CCM, we're like, oh, we need to make it faster. We can make it faster in CCM, but we can also make it faster on the box. So
yeah,
doing that dev work, we're optimizing for delivery via the cloud, and it works sort of both ways. And then obviously we've done a lot of other improvements as well.
Yeah, we're filing them under additional at this point because we have time zone corrections that are happening for filtering, IPsec VPN failover restore that has been worked on, and I like this one, enhanced OpenSSH for post-quantum security compliance. That is actually not exaggerated. That's actually the OpenSSH change log. But yeah.
So there's a lot we do, and software maintenance just never ends.
Right. And so one big thing I wanted to say, like, in this one change is that we resolved a false positive from the PCI scanner that we see. People were failing for not a bad reason. It was more about a reason that they couldn't get
the methodology that Qualys was using to detect a flaw on other systems. It wasn't applicable to us, and so they were not going to change their detection process. So we changed the response, I guess.
Yes,
and that eliminated that issue. So that was if you run into those things, let us know, because we do want to be responsive to those things that are important and minimize your wasted time.
So just wanted to make a quick announcement of the partner portal. Just to review, if you're not in the partner portal, please email portal@calyptix.com and we'll get you in, because there's a whole treasure trove of stuff in there. We work pretty hard in bringing our knowledge base into there. So all of our knowledge base is available without any kind of login. There's a whole getting started guide that's available. So you train your techs of how to get started and do it on a cold deployments if they've not installed before. A reminder that the password sheet inside of the box has a QR code going to that same page. As well as when you log in, you'll be able to see your network sites, configurations, and the performance, as well as get the correct documents that you need for policies and the partner program and pricing.
So the partner portal is huge in getting you the right content to the right people at the right time. So if there's not content that you're looking for, or that you can't find it, please let us know. And whether it's through your ASM or me or anybody on the team, we're constantly needing to improve it, enhance it, add stuff to it. So if you can't find something, just let us know, and either we'll help you find it or we'll create new, because that's what that's for.
So we showed this a little while ago in a couple of our webinars about last year. We added a new section. So this is the roles that you can have in the partner portal. Everyone has that first tick box, and it really just ends at public information.
So so that's basically publicly available information.
Correct. And so then we also have the tech and the admin, which will give you all of your network sites, the name change form, and like technical advisories and stuff like that. So that's an actual login. Admins get a little further visibility into pages like partner pricing and partner deals and the forms. And then we have new sections, which, since we are doing single sign-on with CCM and it's attached to the partner portal, it's the same thing. A new role has been created with a tech with CCM or an admin with CCM.
So CCM access means
you have CCM
configuration capability on the firewalls.
Correct. Yes.
So it's very important to understand, and that's the paid license. And we're using, our portal is built off the Salesforce implementation communities, and so we're extending that through the single sign-on into our maintained CCM platform. And in order to do that, that's the rationale for the one rationale for the license fee as we go. But
a little addition to the partner portal. I put Dwayne's face here. Dwayne is usually the person that goes through all of these certificates and finds the ones that are going to expire and notifies the partner. So we decided to actually put that information inside of the partner portal under the network sites. So as you can see in that top little clip, you can see that there's 3 different certificates. One is going to be Calyptix VPN certificate, SPS certificate, and update server certificate. They each have 3 different rules. And
so the VPN certificate gets created when you activate your Calyptix VPN, right, and the other 2 are really for back-end communication that we manage and maintain and update.
Correct. So we wanted to bring this into your attention just so that you can understand that if you do have an expiring certificate for your VPN, then you contact us and we'll help you along the way. But you will need to reissue your current client.
And it's important to note that expiry date on the VPN is not based on when you bought that box. It's based on when you first created the VPN implementation, because it's the server side certificate that then is embedded as part of your internal system config that gets ported from year to year to year to year. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's got to change. And that's NIST best practice. We no longer allow crypto keys to stay static. They're rotated. In some cases, as frequently as 30 days. These were built to do for 10 years.
Which is kind of crazy that we're actually having this conversation now that there's 10-year-old certificates here that are being expiring. Yeah. I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, it is fascinating, but that is one way. I mean, that's one aspect of to protect your data is change the lock. And the more often you change the lock, then it makes it harder for the bad guy to get the key.
So here's a quick thank you. We all wanted to say thank you for everyone, all our partners that had participated in the CCM beta and also initial subscribers. Your feedback actually shapes the product itself. We can't emphasize this enough, that everything that you say, everything that you need, anything that doesn't feel right or something, we take in, internalize it, and put it out into what it is. And we do appreciate your partnership.
And it's important to note that there are some things that we can do with CCM because it's a cloud console platform that we can hyper initiate and iterate really quickly. It's not like we have to roll out code to every box for everything we do.
Correct.
Now, there are some things we do that do require box code changes, and those obviously take a little longer. And depending on what it might be, it might take a little longer. But there are some very simple things that the team can do to improve, visibility and the effectiveness of CCM. So keep the feedback coming because we really thrive on it. The team loves to engage with each of you with your needs.
So for those who don't know or haven't used or haven't seen, CCM is a cloud manager for AccessEnforcer. You get fleet-wide visibility and control over with one login. You can monitor activity, system health, and all those different little pieces that you want to know. We have been updating, so we do have new dashboard cards that shows power failure, link state, and even patterns. Seeing that we have downtime or how many times did the internet go down and stuff like that. And so if you are interested, there's the pricing right off the bat. It's $200 per user. So it's not per site. It doesn't scale with that kind of thing.
There's no added $5 license per unit. The thinking there is that, people want to be able to manage their fleet. And if they have to add an opt-in or opt-out, how are you going to know which customer that's CCM or not? That's just silly. So we felt that this was the right way to afford to continue to offer CCM and grow it and invest in it together. So if you can't save, an hour a month off of CCM, it's not delivering the value that it should. So we think that it should more than pay for itself over time, particularly if you'll give us more use cases to solve more problems.
Yeah.
And that's the key, because if it's not improving your team's efficiency, then it's not built right.
Right. So here's a quick example of some of the live tiles that I just talked about.
So these are really summaries that are on the different pages. We show, calculations of bandwidth or units that are online or offline or active with clients, VPN clients, number of connections, and so forth. And so this sort of notification banner style will allow you to very quickly identify things that might need attention. To give you a little more example, so in the Explore and Review section, under the system status, in this case, I've highlighted two different sites, and you'll see that it shows there the number of times we've had network downtime, the power failures, active devices, and offline interfaces there. And so that's per item. The tags are based on the fleet at the account level. So I'm actually, only showing the 2 sites out of the 10 that would be in this account. But it shows how the different banners are up there that you can then click on. If you click on the particular unit on the little green check, it'll actually pop up all the data on that site. So very quickly, you're getting real-time visibility into the setup and into the network and so forth of that page. You can even toggle between the traffic graph of the allowed traffic and blocked traffic. You can click on the little button up there, remote Calyptix DNS available. I think that's what gets you straight to the box. Mm-hmm. You can also click on the current most recent messages. It'll show you there's downtime there, and so give you the other items for that particular site. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of looking at the bandwidth and connection visibility, you'll see the tags up top that show you the average bandwidth and so forth on the population under the account. And then of those selected, it gives you a high level overview of the number of devices on the LAN side. And again, that's updated in real time. I don't know what the cycle rate is, but if you log in, you'll see the little banner. I think it's maybe every minute or so.
Pretty quick, yeah.
But it's pretty quick. It'll give you the active connections in and out. It'll give you the traffic up and down. And if you see something you need to drill in further, well, you just click on that little arrow on the right side, and it'll pop up the devices for that site. And then if you want to drill down even more, you pick a device, a little arrow on the far right, and it'll give you the traffic for that. And you can filter that traffic for that site any number of ways by direction, ports, source IP, and the like.
Okay, there's actually a couple of things that didn't make it into the update until after this webinar, so just wanted to give you a little heads up. We have power controls, reboot and shutdown. That's going to be coming within the next couple weeks of from this webinar. That's kind of crucial. I mean, we've been asked to have something like this for a long time. Rebooting a box or something like that straight from the console would be a great thing. Plus, the job scheduler. So that's separate from the power controls, but it can work in conjunction with each other. So you can schedule a reboot or schedule a shutdown. I wouldn't recommend that. Or
schedule a IDS IPS restart for adding new snort rules in the off hour.
It will be for every single configuration change that you can ever do.
Right. It brings a lot of fleet management capability that's very powerful. The only reason it's not out today, and we were hoping to get it out today, was we had an internal final review with the team, and we identified a couple of areas that we needed to address. And so Nick is working on that, mm-hmm. and it should be out very, very soon. So with that, I think it's appropriate.
We want to give a special thanks to Nick because Nick's been the lead developer on CCM, and we wanted to give a quick thank you to Nick for all the work he has done to put a CCM on the map, basically, and continue to add features, refine performance, and he is the heart of CCM. So definitely wanted to give a big thank you to Nick. If you're watching, thank you.
So he built a system in CCM to get direct feedback, and I love it because you can say and click the little feedback button down at the bottom, and you can do copy screen, and that'll actually, when you do the copy screen, it gives him certain data around that particular scenario that maybe you're experiencing something didn't work right, or like, you want to be able to see just the average data on the tagged units. I noticed that, right? Because mm-hmm. if I've tagged them, I don't want that. I mean, so I'll be sending him that feedback clip, but I'll basically hit the feedback button from the screen that I want to share the feedback on, and it gives him everything he needs to implement that request pretty quickly. So thank you, Nick.
Yes, thank you. So here's another tip. Calyptix tech tip number 27, the 2-minute drop of Calyptix VPN. This is a common one. It really comes down to you have two clients that have the same ID, You put it in two different workstations, and now they're fighting each other. So that is usually the reason why Calyptix VPN drops out of nowhere. And so just wanted to give that tip. Please just check your clients that you've sent out and deployed. And yeah.
And so Dwayne's got many years experience, and people just get it and they figure it out. And we've got tips and we've got insights. When you get a new tech, some folks get it and some folks don't. I know you all want to get the ones that do get it, and get them to the resources, get them to learn, and we've got some more tips I think that are available out there. Is there the tip webinar?
We'll have another one coming up.
Okay,
soon.
we have more
just a support webinar.
Excellent.
And that's all Dwayne right there.
Excellent. So we're going to jump in real quick and overview the Community Shield. That stems from Lawrence's PhD thesis of shared distributed threat intelligence for security. So essentially that's embedded in your boxes automatic, as part of the log collection, the analysis, the threat feed generation, the threat deployment, and then the blocking. It's zero setup included. Again, no cost, no add-on. It's our purpose is to drive the cost of cybersecurity down as low as we can, increase the grit, the friction, the challenge for the bad guys. And so working together, we think we can drive the right economies of scale with our partners and with small business to create a real, pain in the butt to the bad guys. Lawrence calls it Legos. He wants to throw Legos on the floor because if you've ever stepped on a Lego.
He knows the pain.
Yeah, he's experienced it. So the threat feeds today stand at about 29,000 entries, almost 30,000, and that translates into about 16 million IP addresses. And this goes up and down. It's been as low as 14.5 million up to 16, 17 million. And it's interesting. These are the organic feeds that we generate from the client base. And what we've learned is that threat intelligence is unique to the environment that you're collecting it from. And what we see is going to be different than what enterprises or other people see. And we've designed our system to collect threat intelligence. And then that's going to lay into the sort of the next service that we're working with is on the monitoring. But you'll see here on July 27th, the exact entry count based on the feeds. And those are actually failed logins to your devices if they're exposed, or the VPNs or the gatekeeper. And we have other different algorithms that generate these feeds. And again, they're pushed out, and they block a lot of stuff. Block a lot of stuff coming in is shown up here in the top left, and also block a lot of stuff going out. And you'll see which are the more active feeds in terms of like the suspicious US IPs or the intrusion feed. But we see a lot of that cycle in the activity actually is the weekday. So as machines come in and out or on or off, engaged in different activity. And what we're really focused on, and it's my mission personally, is to figure out the outbound threats. What is this stuff that we're blocking? And we get very few complaints. Every now and again, we'll get somebody that has legitimate activity going out. Mm-hmm. But most of the stuff we're blocking is stuff that is infrastructure that's observed directly in attempt to hack our clients, you guys, your customers, right? And this emanates from a conversation I had with a chief security officer for one of the top healthcare companies in the country. They said, we're spending millions of dollars just trying to find out if the people that are trying to break into our hospital systems are actually getting anything out. And I was like, well, we can do that. So that's what this is. And so now we're on the next mission with that. So on any given day, there's between 100 and 300 unique destination IPs that are being used by the bad guys to try to get data out or get connections out to do what they do. And so, Joseph, at the end of the day, how do we find that needle in the haystack?
Well, you got to follow the threat.
Yep, that's what we're doing. So we think that the network activity is the opportunity to trace it back to its origin. And that's where we're transitioning into Community Shield Plus, which is the extension of Community Shield to basically focus on the activities that we are seeing that are threats to each and every one of us and figure out just what in God's name is it. So let's see here. Let's start with we're going to do the quick review of the polls.
Okay.
And so that's what we're bringing to market, right? Is a new service offering. And this extension focused for us on finding out what the outbound activity is, what these threats are. So this is a quick overview. So it looks like, roughly 2/3 are offering some managed service of monitoring, and 40% is most of their customers. And so definitely there's, it's being offered, which is great to see. People are interested and people are selling it. The next question was, what challenges do you have? And looks like thanks, Joseph, got to share it. Looks like the least challenge is the setup. Next one is the integration. And then the biggest one is, frankly, articulating the value to the customers.
Yeah.
And then the noise and the bandwidth, which makes sense. If you got too much noise and you have limited bandwidth, it's easy to set up, but it's damn hard to make effective.
Right.
And I think it's either too noisy or not noisy enough. And by that, I mean that there are service providers out there that will do monitoring, but the question is, what are they really monitoring? And that's where I've struggled and been really focused personally on making sure that if we undertake this effort, that we're going to get the right things monitored. And in order to do that, requires bringing together all the right data sources. And so people are definitely doing the Microsoft monitoring, which is great to see. They're trying to drive the log correlation. Not as many people have access to experts if they need help, which I think that's a big need, because that's where you're most at risk from really, if you identify a problem, can you jump on it quickly? Can you work with the client in an economical way to resolve the issue and be the champion rather than the problem? And then about half the folks have human involvement in their monitoring, about half are automated, and a little over half have mitigation remediation capabilities.
Okay.
That's helpful. All right. So we're going to, when we did up the slide some time ago, the challenges of getting all the right infrastructure integrated, sending the right signals and generating the right signals, log noise, price, cost. I mean, these are the challenges we've seen on the small business side, and they do map to the feedback. And our goal is to really make it easy to get the right data, generate the right activity monitoring, because the SOC doesn't want the wrong data either. It's really an interesting dynamic, and there's a lot of effort to tune it down. And that really does involve, every small business is different. Some people may allow certain activity, others don't. Some people may use tail scale, others don't. Some people may allow, what do some of you do, Joseph?
Video games? Online video games?
Yeah, but all kind of things, right? So if we try to treat every customer the same, they're not going to fit. They're not going to get the value they need. And we believe that the opportunity is really tightly tailored service for small business will provide a very effective method, but you have to have the right tools to do it. You have to have the right partners to do it, and you have to have the right mindset to do it. And so that's really what we're bringing is, human-led investigation and monitoring, collaborative partnership, and, mission, purpose. And the small business, this is my sort of view is they're in the cloud. They've got people at home. They've got people in other cities on the go. They got environments with stuff they need to really lock down. They need to, have some flexibility spaces. And then they have, the public Wi-Fi at the dentist office.
Yeah.
EDR covers a good bit of that, right? But it doesn't cover the Internet of Things. It doesn't deal with the other pieces. And so you need to add all the right data sources. And that's where, we're looking to be able to tailor the log forwarding policy together with the network security policy to bring all that into one easy place. What we found is that most SOCs will take your firewall logs and they use them as an afterthought. They seldom want to use them as a canary in the coal mine to say, I might have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised. I mean, so I don't mean to, but I've learned a lot in the last 9 months as we've worked on this service, that EDR tools are very good at behavioral detection. But what they're not good at is network correlation. And I did not understand until we started getting deeper is that the endpoint detection methodology has to decide what it's going to look at. And it, to my knowledge, the tools we've looked at, they don't log every network connection.
Honestly, that would be voluminous.
Yeah. And we see every network connection, 100%. So when we block outbound traffic going to an infrastructure that we've seen do bad things, the chance that they see it, that transaction occurs less than a second, less than half a second. Well, if they're doing polling for network connections at 30 seconds, even 5 seconds, they're still only seeing a fraction of the network activity. So we get asked the question is, well, my ADR doesn't think that anything's bad's going on. I'm like, okay, I get it, but what was this? Well, they can't see that, and so we're trying to work with the tools, bring them together, identify the gaps, and close the gaps. Do it easily and effectively, and that's our mission.
So I want to say, as we go through and build this, we are building this for our partners, for your environment, for your cost, for everything for you to be comfortable with using this. So keep the feedback coming as we go through this, and just know that just like everything else that we do, it is partner driven.
So with that, we do want to ask one last question to help accelerate our program. And that is, who would be interested in the beta or early trial of Community Shield Plus? We already have some gracious partners that we're working with, and we're really excited to press forward. We've been dog fooding this our very own self.
Yep.
So, one of the, things that we've held out with our partner OpenText in the service offering is that we are not going to put our partners at risk until we're okay with it. We're not going to ask you to put your customers, to trial this until we are confident we have enough of a framework, operational service delivery that's meaningful. So with that said, we very much are interested in folks that would like to trial. We have started our beta, and we are actively interviewing and onboarding beta partners. We are starting ideally with an NFR. Then once the partner, if they're willing and interested, is to bring on a beta end customer. And the purpose of that is to identify the stack and tailor the monitoring for each partner so that we can then optimize and tailor the monitoring and alerting for each end customer with that partner. And so, we want to have a very sort of thoughtful approach with this. And so if you're interested, please let us know. If you're not interested, please let us know that as well. That'll save us time and you time as well. So if you guys, I know a few of you guys are still hanging out, and we hit the hour, but would love it if we get another few folks to give us a yay or nay. I will say the early beta is free. So that's one thing I probably ought to say is, once we do the beta, it'll be free for our partner. It'll be free for their first customer. And then we'll go to early trial. We're covering the cost because we have out-of-pocket costs with a SOC, and they're not going to do it all for free. So if that encourages you to consider that engagement, let me know. And so with that, we'll close that. I'll give you a couple more seconds. Let one more person let us know. All right, we'll close that. one more. We got one more. That's perfect. So again, thank you very much.